Hey everybody, welcome back to Rusty Wrench Restorations. I'm Steve and I'm standing in my new workshop. No, I don't have a new workshop, but I got a reconditioned work area, I guess. So I'm going to show you a clip from a couple of days ago when I was putting up a new fence, and then I'll bring you back and kind of show you where we're at and what I did. Alright, not sure if I'll end up using this video or not, but making some changes over here to my work area. So as you can see, I've taken down the fence that goes along the side there, and that fence has to stay because it's a privacy fence. Obviously my neighbor's house is literally right here where I work, but the fence was just old and rotted, so I got new posts in. I'm going to replace the gate here from my neighbor, and yeah, you can see back here I already finished this yesterday, and yeah, looks a lot better. Got this all remulched in for them and get that cleaned up. And as you can see here, I've doubled up the, I guess you'd call these pickets, they're dog ear. But my biggest thing was these fences, as they get older, you can see here, the wood shrinks and you got all these gaps and you can see right through. So one has a privacy thing for us back here. I'm not going to show you their backyard, but as a privacy thing, having these lapped over all the cracks prevents that from happening. Plus also, here's a perspective that you will probably never see again, my work area from this side. Obviously I do a lot of work over here too, and I make a lot of noise, so having those pickets, there's a pile of them here. I had, I think, 352 of them delivered. But anyway, having those pickets doubled up is twice the thickness of wood, obviously, and hopefully that'll help insulate some of the noise. So you can see there's some orange, well, you might not be able to see, there's some orange lines strung here. These are for the poles, and then up here, that's where the fence top is. So it's almost above where their windows are. That's why I got this like carpet stuff here. That's going to get changed as well. From where the old fence ended, it came up a little above that. That way there, as I was back here shooting video for my channel, there was never the intent or the possibility that I'd actually accidentally get a window of my neighbors. They're not home right now, so I know they're not going to show up in the window there. But anyway, once the new fence is up, some things are going to change. This carpet's going to come down. I'm going to get some nice wood up here. This back section, basically from that post over, and then this, I guess it's probably about a 10-foot spread. It's 8 foot between these posts, and I got another little overhang here, which is about 2 foot. That's going to get kind of closed in, and I'm going to get a workbench there for doing some work stuff, so I don't have to keep going in the garage. Plus, I think it'll make a nice backdrop area here for additional video content. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, so when I built this lean-to here, I made these 4x4s go on the outside of these rafters and headers. So you can see out here what I'm talking about. So the 4x4 is on the outside of the framing, which is not typically how this is done. Normally this 4x4 would be inside the corner here of the header and the joist. So, but by me putting them on the outside gave me an additional, that's not really a true 4x4, right? Gotta love the United States. It's probably about 3.5 inches on both sides. So that's an extra 7 inches of width I have in here. Now you might laugh. I see all these YouTubers that have these, 40 by 80 foot metal buildings for their shop. But for what I have out here, 7 inches all the way down on each side, combined all the way down, that's considerable storage space for me. So the next problem that I've ran into and that I'm going to remedy once this fence is done is this metal roof. So when the water comes off, obviously it drops down on my side of the fence, which is intentional because I don't want my rainwater going over into my neighbor's yard. That's just messed up. The problem is because these 4x4s are on the outside, I can't put a gutter on here typically a gutter would be here to catch that water and divert it away. So now all this water in this basically 12 by 30 foot area, any rain that comes on this roof all gets shed to between the fence and my building. So this like 1.5 foot area here, and it just becomes a mud hole, and then it splashes up onto my projects and my equipment, and it's kind of a pain. So basically, to remedy that, I'm going to put up another false soffit or header on this outside here, and I'm going to extend. I get some more metal sheeting. I'll go underneath here so it'll act like a shingle, and I'll extend this out, however long it needs to be, 6 or 8 inches. So I'll put a new soffit header on here with the gutter, and I'll extend the roof out a little further. So that'll probably get my covered area out almost halfway out to the fence, and all that water will drain into a gutter and come down to this end with a downspout and out. So like I said, I'm not sure if I'll end up showing you all this video or not, because it really doesn't have anything to do with restorations. It's kind of something I've been doing around here, but I know you'll see the new fence in the background, and like I said, some modifications to the work area over here, wanting to put in kind of a workbench and close it in somewhat. I don't want to completely close it in because, well, it is what it is. It's a lean-to. There's nothing actually physically attached to my house. This is all just a freestanding carport kind of coverage type thing. So, and if I close it in, then things start to get a little damp and wet, and I don't have good airflow. So even on that little 8-foot section that I close in, I may end up doing like some plexiglass just to continue let light through, because I don't want to close it all in and I have a dungeon. I have all this lighting. These lights work great, but there's only so much I can put out here too, because I only got a little bit of power. Anyway, that's my my Thanksgiving weekend project, is to replace this fence. So I was able to get the everything basically tore down, and 5 out of the 8 posts set on Thursday before we had our Thanksgiving dinner. And then yesterday I got all the 2x4s and all the individual panels doubled up to get their backyard, basically blocked back off. So I'm going to finish this today, and we'll go from there. All right, and there you have it. So yeah, this fence that used to go down between my house and my neighbors, I put in probably almost 20 years ago. And it was time for a new one. There was lots of rotted pieces at the bottom. A lot of the fence posts were messed up, so it was just time to replace it. Now, my wife and I had originally decided that we were going to get one of those nice white vinyl fences. We figured it's easy to pressure wash and clean, and it looked a lot nicer. The problem was they just seemed really kind of frail and chintzy. So I'm sure you've seen in other videos, in the front of my house I have a shorter white picket fence that's the vinyl type. And basically it was 4x4 posts in the ground with a white sleeve that went over it. So for these 6 and 8 foot fences, it didn't have a wooden post that went into the ground per se. It was just the, I don't know, PVC or plastic, whatever it is, post. And then of course the panels got bolted to that with brackets, and they look really nice. And I'm not knocking them. I'm sure there's plenty of you that have them, and you'll say they're the greatest fence in the world, and you probably might be right. But for what I was doing, the cost to have that put in, or for me to put it in, versus the wood, we just decided to go with the wood. I don't plan on being in this house in the next 20 years, so hopefully I won't ever have to replace the fence again. But yeah, it was like a 67-foot run from the corner of my backyard straight up to the corner of my work area here. And I think it involved, let's see, there were 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 posts, I think. And instead of getting the panel fencing, I did pressure treated 2x4s, and I put up each panel on my own. At the bottom of the fence, which I'll show you as well, I used the 2x8. And that just kind of gives me and my neighbors something that if we push dirt up against, it'll mess with that 2x8 vice the panels or the pickets of the fence. So with that being said, you can kind of see over on that your left-hand side of the screen there, the fence behind here. This is just my lean-to work area that I've always had. The only difference is I decided to close in this 8-foot section, and there's a little, I'd say probably 3.5 foot section here in the corner, as well as I built a workbench out of 2x4s. So I'm not a big workbench guy. I've always just kind of worked on the ground, and I've always enjoyed that, but as I get older, it's getting harder to get up and down, and I definitely feel it at night. So I decided it was time to get a good workbench. So I built this one. It's about stomach height for me, so that I can actually work on things standing up. I don't have to even bend over a little bit, because just that little bit of hunched overness really does make a difference throughout the day. So it's a good height, it's sturdy, you know, I can get up on top of this thing if I need to. I've got some storage underneath here for different parts and whatnot. Plus it gives me the opportunity, I can put some more lighting up here, and makes kind of a nice backdrop. I think for times like this when I'm just talking to you, it kind of gives you a background that lets you focus on me instead of the crazy junk piles I have over here. So anyway, with that being said, you'll see a lot more videos with this in the background. Plus it also, by closing this in, gave me yet another layer, I don't want to say of privacy between me and my neighbors, but you know, just not seeing over the fence in the videos kind of thing. You've seen before I've had tarps or blankets or things covering here, so I respect my neighbors and their privacy, and I don't want to accidentally have them in a video and that kind of stuff. So anyway, but it also acts as kind of a weather block, if you will. So we got about an inch or an inch and a half of snow last night, and it kept this whole area kind of nice and clean and dry. So I'll give you a quick little walkthrough, show you what it looked like. Not that you really care, it's a fence, but I guess it could be considered a restoration, right? We took down the old fence to put up a new one, but it's just, you might see a little bit of different background in the videos from this point forward. Oh, and you'll also notice that, yes, the International 40 box blade is on the workbench. And it's not on the Kubota Cadet because I don't have the Kubota Cadet anymore. So yeah, I did sell the Kubota Cadet. It went to another local tractor enthusiast who is going to put it into his collection. Him and his brother actually have quite the extensive collection of nice tractors, including a John Deere 420 crawler. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I used to have a series. There's a whole playlist. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's called Retro Restorations. And it was basically pictures and video of tractor restorations that I had done in years past before I started my YouTube channel. So it's kind of a way to document those projects, even though they were done in the past. So with that being complete, I was always looking for another series to do. And I was thinking about doing one where I would basically go around and just visit different friends and family and people that I know that have tractors and kind of showcase their collection. So, you know, I might go to, you know, my buddy Brian's house and go through and show you all of his tractors and what they mean and where they came from, and, you know, different varieties of different models, makes, years, all that kind of stuff. There is one video I did with my friend Ricky. We saw his farm alls. He's got some low boys and all his crawlers and stuff. So if I think of it, I'll put a link to that here. But if not, it's in my playlist of, I think, tractor shows or something like that. So anyway, Kubota Cadet is gone. You know, I just don't have the room to store everything. I'm not a museum. I love building these things and having fun with them, trying out new stuff and taking them to shows, enjoying them, let other people enjoy them. And it was just time to let it go and let this guy, you know, enjoy it in his collection. And I'm sure we'll see it again, because we talked about going to showcase his and his brother's collection, and of course the Kubota Cadet will be there, so you'll see it again. But anyway, this didn't go with it. I guess by the time this video comes out, he'll have it already, but I bought this years and years ago, and I sold or traded it with my buddy Brian. You know, Brian and I do lots of tractor stuff together, shows, going to pick stuff up, drop stuff off. We just have a lot of the same likes when it comes to that kind of stuff. And he had this in one of his Cub Cadets for a long time, and when I did the Kubota Cadet build, he insisted that I get this back so that I could have a cool implement to have with it, because as you know, I like the implements almost more than tractors. So yeah, I decided when it came time to sell the Kubota Cadet that this wasn't going to go with it, and I'll be giving this back to my buddy Brian for his Christmas present this year. So this video will be out after he gets it. He's going to get it this Sunday coming up anyway. So, but yeah, this is the box blade, and it stayed here. Let's get to this fence. So one of the major things that I did that's different is the gate. So this is a 2-part gate. It's roughly, they're a little bit larger than 5 foot each. It's a 10-foot span. The gates used to swing in. Why I did that, I don't know, but it basically took this like 8 by 10 area here and made it completely useless for me. Now that part's not covered. Obviously there's the sky, but this whole area I couldn't use for anything because I had to be able to open the gate to get things in and out. Now currently all the machinery I have will fit through one 5-foot gate. So technically I could have this like 5 by 10 section over here where I could put stuff. Right now I have the weight box there and the roller and some other parts and whatnot, but it was always just very hard to do anything with this area because of the gates. So I made it so the gates swing out, and this one swings out this way. So really I could store something right here up against the gate and it doesn't matter. So all right, so here's the new fence. One thing I also did, because like I said I did each panel individual, was I doubled them up, and you can see in the V here there's wood. So for every 2 panels, if you look at it from the other side, there's another panel that goes right over the middle. So there's no gaps, no cracks. Let's see if I can zoom up over this here. There's double thickness the whole way. So that was just kind of part of what I wanted to do. And of course the fence goes the length. Now at the bottom you can see the 2x8 there. Again, that's just to keep the dirt and water and whatnot off the fence pickets. So I did extend the roof a little bit here. I'll go from this side. So these 4x4s, when I built this, I put them on the outside of the framing. That's not typical. Typically this 4x4 would have been on the inside in this corner. But like I said, I was trying to maximize my room inside here. The problem was the roof ended right here at the 2x6. So basically I got another 2x6 and I ran it all the way down, and I extended my metal roof out. I tucked like 10-inch pieces up underneath here, and I was able to put a gutter on the outside with a downspout to get the water away. So in the past, let's see, this is 10 by I want to say it's about 10 by 30, the covered area here, and any water that would hit would roll down and it would just cascade off on the end and make a big mud pile over there and splash up on all the equipment. So now you can see down here, it's wet, obviously rain can still get through, but it stays a lot drier. And then between my little workbench area here and the fence is kind of just a cubby back there and keep some parts or tools or whatever. So anyway, I have to keep from showing this corner over here because there's something that you can't see yet. But anyway, here's the workbench corner. So again, that's going to be a backdrop for some other videos. Here is something that you haven't seen yet. Nothing really too exciting. It was a Generac Magnum light tower. So on the front, there used to be the tower that would go up and have the big halogen lights for like construction areas and work zones and whatnot. And I picked this up a while back. Let's see if I can get this here. Sorry about that. So I picked this up a while back for one reason being is it had a Kubota diesel engine in it. And I was going to use this engine for a tractor project. The problem with that is the governor on this. It's set obviously to run the generator. So the throttle plate here and the governor springs inside are set to maintain 1800 RPM. That's just what it is. 1800 RPM. It's got both a 120 volt and a 240, and then individual breakers for the lights that are no longer here. So like I said, I had originally purchased this because I wanted the engine. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that that throttle assembly or throttle plate is governed for a steady state speed for electrical power generation. So with that being said, yes, I can modify this. I can switch that plate out for a manual throttle, and I can use that engine for another project. However, in the meantime, I thought, well, it'd be pretty nice to have this generator for, well, in case we lose power or just for doing stuff out here. So it does work. In fact, let's start this up real quick. Glow plugs and fuel pump here. I have used the 120 outlet to run my saw, and it worked pretty good. I have yet to use the 240. That's going to be next. But as you can see, there's a capacitor up here that is damaged. I'll show you that in a second. Not too bad, starts right up. So this has got two capacitors. There's another one behind this panel, and then this one. And this one was just kind of hanging. And as you can see, someone has cut into this, and all the fluid that's supposed to be in here has leaked out. So I think that is for the 240 side. I don't know. It says it's 540 volt VAC, so I'm assuming that is the case. There is another one of these capacitors that looks the same that's behind here. It might even be the same size. Anyway, I'm going way down a rant and a rabbit hole with this, but I might use this for out here in the shop area for all my welding and stuff. So again, I don't have 240 in the garage. I need to have that put in, but I'm hoping that the 240 from this will run. I bought a Lincoln Tombstone stick welder, so hopefully we can do a little bit more heavy duty welding than what the flux core welder will do. Though it is very capable, it doesn't really penetrate into anything over 1/4 inch. So I'm not sure if this will even handle it. You know, the breakers might be too small. I mean, it's made to light up 4 lights, so we'll see. The price was right, so really can't complain about that. So if I don't end up using as a generator for my welding out here, I can use it as just a backup generator, or eventually I can change that throttle plate and use the diesel engine for another project. So with that being said, here's the diesel engine here from covered up from the Kubota, all my parts for the roller. Let's see, I guess this video would come out before the next one, but I have another use for that engine, which will be in next week's video, which is what you can't see behind you over here. So anyway, I'll close out this video. I'm just going down talking about things as I see them now, but yeah, I replaced the fence. So we got a new fence here in the work area, and then of course the workbench area as well, which was a nice addition, and got some things kind of cleaned up and organized. Got a little generator here. Maybe we can use this for welding. We'll see. And old Bozo here been doing well too. So we didn't get quite enough snow to play with it, but anyway, that's my rambling rant for my for this week's video. I know, so disappointing, right? Hey, I put a fence up and I put a workbench in my work area. What a great show. Let me subscribe. Anyway, just want to keep you up to date on what was going on out here. And next week's video will be the revealing of what's behind you over there, and what I think I'm going to end up using the diesel engine for. I think I'm just going to put the Kohler engine into the pay roller project. I know I got a lot going on too. I mean, the pay roller, as you can see, it's still here. Like, I've done nothing since that mock-up video. I've been busy with all kinds of things, homework, putting up Christmas lights, you name it. But yeah, lots of projects coming up. We got the payroller for sure. The Bozo, the Kubota B7100. We got a lot of things left to do on this. I got all the rebuild kits for the cylinders. We'll do all filters and fluids. I'm gonna replace the hoses. Eventually we'll get through and paint this, but that won't be till spring when it warms up. And then of course the surprise that's behind you. Let's see if you can, I don't know if that audio cue will be enough to let you know what it is, but it's pretty cool. So anyway, that's this week's video. We'll see you back next week. We'll reveal to you what that is, and I appreciate your support. See you in the next one.